Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for popping in. Today's video, I just want to go over a bit of news the player just gave to us, and we have some fun speculation in this video as well with an upcoming event. So let's jump right into it. So I'm going to give you guys the announcement that player has given to us, and it's going to be right here. I'm going to put it right above my head. So first we have a progressive event starting Tuesday. It's going to be two separate progressive events going on one day each. So we got some different champions up for grabs. So first one we have here is Kira the Watcher. So Kira the Watcher is part of the Mikage fusion. I mean, would I really be pulling Sacred Shards hoping to try to hit her? I mean, it's a pretty big gamble, guys. Even with the 15x, you're looking at less than 7% chance of actually hitting one desired legendary out of the total pool of legendaries, even with the 15x. So here's Kira. She's actually a decent champion on her own, especially for traditional clan boss teams. But outside of that, she's just basically Mikage food. Up next, we have an oldie but a pretty goodie Sacred Order here. We got the Spirit counterattack champion Martyr. Base speed's just absolutely horrendous, but she brings the increased defense, team-wide counterattack on a 3-turn cooldown. Very, very good. Counterattack always finds a way to sneak back into content, so she's always going to have some kind of relevancy somewhere. She's very good in traditional clan boss teams, of course, and then obviously she does have extra utility with the AoE provoke, AoE decrease attack as well. She hits pretty hard as well. Good champion overall. Just a base speed really kind of grinds me up sometimes. After that, we have a past fusion from the Skinwalkers. We have a 4 support champion, Mighty Uko. So Mighty Uko, great champion. I have him listed as a little bit of a overhyped champion when he was first announced. Obviously, he's still a very good champion, but he didn't really live up to such high expectations. But he's still a very good champion. So he has an A1 AoE decrease attack. Very good. That's very good. His A2 is a double hit. It's a strip. And then if it fully strips, he places a block buff and decreased accuracy. It's on a 4-turn, which is not like ideal, but super powerful move here as well. And then he also brings a team-wide revive with the block damage and then increased speed as well. Very, very good champion. He also brings the aura, 20% in all battles, great aura, and his passive is super annoying where he can steal your buffs. Yeah, a little bit of mixed base speed, base stats, good base speed. He's a great fusion, still a great champion. Would I pull Shards for him? I already have a copy of him. I already have a 4-star soul for him, so I don't really feel like obviously pulling for him is worth that much. But like I said, any pulls on these progressive events are going to be super gambles, 6 or 7% roughly to try to hit one champion. After that, we have another Skinwalker. We're going back in for Nishak Vermin Lord. So Mr. Vermin Lord, Rat King here, Christmas Fusion back in the day, very, very good champion. Can solo some content as well. Brings the AoE bombs, then he brings the AoE decrease attack, and then he has, whenever the bombs blow up, they leave poisons that are protected, which is pretty cool. So he's like guaranteed to deal good damage. Zaywan also places bombs, and then he buffs his bombs with attack in all battles. Generally a very good champion. Kit synergizes quite well together. Base HP is a little bit on the low side, but he can solo things like Dragon, for example. He's a godsend for Bommel. He just annihilates Bommel. Great champion. Again, would I pull for him? Probably not. Old fusion. I think I have like 2 copies of him. Yeah, so it's probably better to sit this one out, I think, for him. For the Void Shards, we're looking at Hegemon. So Hegemon here. Hegemon was one of those champions that I also said was a little bit, he's out of favor right now. Obviously, he was the king of the arena back in the day when speed was all there was. And now with Stone Skin, Bolster, Shields, and all that stuff, makes it really hard for Hegemon to do anything. So you can basically he always goes first. His passive makes him always go first. He only has 2 moves, one AoE and then one A1, which is a multi-hit. So you can gear him for damage, so he goes first, fires the nuke off, tries to kill people, or you can gear him in like stun set or provoke set, and then you can fire the AoE and try to provoke everybody. So he's a cool champion, but definitely not super meta right now in the arena, just because the the gear sets just counter him so hard. Maybe in the future there might be a gear set that that cancels set bonuses. I don't know. Maybe, and then he'll be king again. But again, 15x on a void pull actually isn't too bad. I think you're looking at roughly about 15% to hit 1 champion on void. And then lastly, on day 1, we have Big Mama herself from the Void Shards, Ursuga Warcaller. So Warcaller has the passive that kind of absorbs extra damage from your whole team, so she has kind of like a built-in ally protection. She also brings ally protection strengthen, decrease crit damage, decrease speed, decrease attack, decrease defense. Very good champion just like as a tank. Mainly used for the arena, was kind of more meta, but now not so much. He's kind of a worse Necrit, I guess, as a team protector maybe. But yeah, generally I don't think I would be putting her too highly on champions that you would love to see popping out of a Void Shard, especially with the amount of great Void champions nowadays. But she is definitely an above average champion still, and very good just to carry you through general content if you have her. So that's day 1, guys. Coming up next, we got the day 2s. And this day might actually interest you, as our top draw would probably be Duchess herself. Duchess Little 2, speed in all battles, A1 with the shield, A2 Veil, increase attack, block debuffs on a 4 turn, and then the team-wide revive. And then of course her super passive, which reduces all AoE damage. Great champion, especially for arena. But in general, a great champion everywhere in the game. She can play basically everywhere in the game. She'll have a use case in everywhere, like traditional clan boss teams, Hydra, all dungeons basically. She's just going to be a hard carry everywhere. One of the best champions you can have very early on in the game. Definitely a top draw for this day 2 progressive event. Coming up next, we also have another awesome draw, which would be a recent Heroes Path champion. He ended up costing about 23 sacreds worth, but he's absolutely worth it. Grand Oak Padri. So the old man himself, excellent champion. A1, decrease cooldown on random active skill. Very, very strong to get more damage out of your team, especially for Hydra, for longer fights, for example. A2 brings an ally attack. No damage buffs, but he does bring a little bit of a sustain here, and then restores your destroyed max HP, which is really nice. And then his A3 brings a heal, turn meter fill, and remove all debuffs with the increased speed. Very, very good cleanse here. And then he brings a big speed in all dungeons aura. And that doesn't even top it off. His passive is awesome because it kind of caters to whatever champion is on the team, but every time Padri takes a turn, he will be placing these buffs on the champions, making sure that they have the supporting buffs. This is especially good for damage dealers that have damage based on whatever type they are. So it's really, really good. Yeah, just a great champion. I definitely underestimated him when I first saw his kit, but in general practice, he's awesome. I'm so glad that I picked him up. Incredible base speed as well. So is he worth it if you missed out on him? Like I said, it's a long shot. I don't think any of these progressive events are really worth it for non-voids. It's such a long shot to get any of these, but he's definitely a great pull if you pull him. Up next, back with the Sylvan Watchers, and our most recent fusion is actually up for grab, Eostrid. So Eostrid, again, excellent champion, great base speed, has the speed in arena, A1 sleep, A2 decreased speed, weaken, decreased turn meter is an AoE attack, and then her A3 is increased speed, increased attack, and then a turn meter fill into an extra turn. It's very solid kit. It kind of works well together, especially for Hydra. Any kind of increased speed, decreased speed champion for Hydra in one champion is extremely good because those are critical buff and debuffs that need to be covered. And if you can do it in one champion, it's very, very strong. Her A1 sleep, more for arena, but obviously, this move doesn't really fit in with Hydra, but it gives her extra utility in arena. Her A1 actually hits pretty hard as well, so she can do a little bit of damage for your team. Her passive is actually really cool. It brings a little bit of healing, so whenever turn meter happens on your team, you do get a bit of a heal relative to the turn meter boost. It is on a 1-turn cooldown, so you won't get like abusive behavior on this passive, but overall it's a nice little bonus for her kit. Good HP, great base speed, like I said, good defense. Overall, just great champion, great fusion. Is she worth pulling for? Again, I would say no for any non-void legendary. Coming up next, we have the Ogen tribe, Agir. Agir was another past fusion. He brings the increased accuracy, and then he brings a corresponding increased defense or increased attack based on the type of champion on your team, which is pretty cool. And then he brings a strip. So it's an AoE attack with a strip. So I guess he could weak hit. He has a strip, and then he can place a weaken. Does it work? Does it work well? I mean, it could work well if maybe it wasn't an attack all, if it was just happening, or if it didn't place the weaken. Because if you use this in arena, weaken can make him into a sheep, and then obviously attack and weak hit and all that stuff. His passive's kind of cool, where if you revive, he instantly activates his Earth Puncture, which is his AoE attack, strip, weaken. So it's kind of cool. I haven't really tested him like seriously. I just have him, but I never really tested him. Good base stats, good base HP. I think I've seen him used maybe a couple times, and he seemed okay. So he might be actually somebody that is worth maybe using, especially if you're early on. I could see him being okay. After that, we're staying with the Ogen tribes, and we're going into Bellatar Mage Slayer. Frankly, from the Void Shards, I have no idea really what he does. Don't really hear too much about him. Increased attack, increased defense. So attacks and then places both of these buffs on all allies. Also heals all allies by 20% of this. Okay, so it's a double buff plus a heal plus it's an attack. Seems okay. Okay, not really Void Legendary-esque, but okay. And then he brings a team revive. Revive all dead allies. 50%. Places shield equal to 20%. I mean, it's a standard 4-turn team revive. It's nothing too crazy. And what about his passive? 50% chance of decreasing all of allies cooldown skill by 1 turn whenever they are revived. And then it's not even 100%, it's only 70%. So, I mean, it's too conditional, like whenever they're revived. Like, sometimes you need, it's too conditional for this to be great. Generally, I would think this is not an insane Void legendary, but he seems okay. Decent base stats as well, but nothing too crazy. Lastly, from the Void Shards, we're looking at Little Miss Annie. Seen some crazy stuff with her recently, especially in Centrano City, but obviously those are some pretty crazy accounts. She did get buffed recently where she can do some little bit extra damage. She's crazy. A1 triple hit, A2 double hit, ignores defense. Ignore defense. And then she has a crazy smack here. Ignores defense, destroys max HP, repeats, and then places revive on death as well. Her passive, when revived, attacks the enemy that killed this champion with the default skill. She can definitely smack. 1600 base attack, very, very good. Would I say like she's like top draw nuker? Probably not, but like she could be really fun. Could be really good in certain content. And very unique champion, and she actually can deliver good solid hits too. All right, so that's going to be the events for the next 2 days. It's going to be 2 progressive events. So generally, like I said, I'm totally against these in terms of shard spending. These are not worth it at all unless you're close to Mercy and you want to take a gamble. Like I said, 5%, 6%, 7%. I think it's roughly 7%. I do the math, but roughly 77% for a non-void legendary. For voids, roughly about 14-15%. So if you want to gamble, then by all means, but they're probably not great gambles. So best to hold your shards, especially with the fusion coming up. Secondly, I want to speculate on something here with you guys, and it's going to be here. So we do have something new show up in the player and play calendar. It's going to Hero's Path. It's pretty empty. It's not giving us much info, but they did say it is part of the Titan event, so there is some spider web points in there. You can expect probably a good chunk in there, at least 150, maybe up to 300. And doesn't really give you much. There's going to be some rewards slotted in closer to the date, but you know, we can speculate on what it could be. It's going to be almost certainly a shard event. Might be a replacement for the summon rush event, which makes sense since we just had the chase event. But what could it be? What could this hero path be? It's starting right after a Deck of Fate, so it could be shards plus dungeon divers. It can't be shards plus training. It could be shards plus maybe another soulstone tournament. We did have a soulstone tournament boosted rates just before the previous fusion. So the last two fusions, just before the fusion started, there was a soulstone event with boosted rates, like 2x, 2x 6-star souls from soulstones. So it's possible. Or that event could be Monday or Tuesday, leading up to the fusion, which starts on the 9th. But it's cool to speculate on what this could be. I'm hoping it's something kind of juicy, to be honest. I'm sitting on a bunch of sacreds on kind of both my accounts, and I'm kind of ready to go. But I want to see what it is. It would be nice if it's a guaranteed champion. I can't even take a guess at what it could be. And if it was a guaranteed champion, I don't know if you guys have any ideas. Let me know in the comments below. We've been beating Wallmaster for a long time, but right now that seems like a distant memory. But I might suggest that this path event might have something pretty juicy in it, especially if they're just launching these two random progressive events early on in the week, just to get people to loosen up on some of those shards just before this hero's path. I think they're probably setting up for something here on this hero's path. So it's just something to look out for, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about these events. Are you guys going for them? Probably not. I would suggest not, especially for progressive. But this hero's path definitely looks interesting. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think it might be. And thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.